Welcome to A Day with the Car Driver. This time we are covering the fall 2010 anime season. I'm Scamp.
And I'm Jay.
And fall 2010
was crap. No, that's a lie.
No, it wasn't.
It looked like it at first.
It looked at first because we've got our little, little behind the scenes, a little inside baseball here. We've got a little sheet open here with, a bunch of the anime, and they kind of structure them in a way that says, oh, these kind of have similar themes to them. So, for example, we open up with, we've got Fortune Arterial, Samurai Girls, and MM all next to each other. Because they're all trashy boob shows.
Shouldn't you have said inside hurling?
Yes, inside hurling. Sorry, it took me a second there to get what you were saying.
Well, I figured, if I said Celtic football, that seems a bit too much, in a way.
Gaelic football.
Oh, yeah, that... Celtic, Gaelic.
I like Celtic football.
It's all... Yeah. It's all high crosses to me. Anyway, though, yes, boob shows. Well...
Did you watch
Samurai Girls was significantly more boob than MM or Fortune Arterial. I'll say that. Samurai Girls, it's from the makers of Queen's Blade, so...
Don't think it was quite as extreme as Queen's Blade.
Also, I believe it took sort of a more interesting visual approach to its censorship in its broadcast version.
It had these, paint strips. No.
Yeah, it was paint ink blots, wasn't it?
It was that, what do they call that special kind of Japanese writing? With the...
Calligraphy?
Calligraphy. It was calligraphy strokes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But there was also ink blots, as I recall.
Yeah. So I didn't watch any of these. Well, I watched Koi to Oshigoto, which was a 2-episode OVA about a young teenage girl voicing porn.
Was she a young teenage girl?
I think she was 16.
God, because doesn't her apartment burn down?
Does it?
Am I thinking of something else?
But maybe?
There's the one with the apartment that burns down and she ends up living with the guy.
No, I don't think she even really interacts with guys in this.
Oh, maybe it was the TV series.
One thing I remember from that is she has to voice a scene in which she's sucking 5 dicks or something. And then they cut to the image of what the scene looks like, and all the dicks are covered in rainbows.
Uh-huh.
As you can see, it was a very classy season.
It suddenly occurs to me again that I do find some of the choices in who voices what in terms of age questionable.
Yeah.
Because now I'm thinking about one of those disposable Emoto shows where they're like, oh, we got an actual 14-year-old to voice our Emoto, and it was she spends the show yelling at her brother to bang her. It feels a little odd that we're having a child do this, but I'm getting a bit far afield.
Speaking of Emoto shows, though, we have this season was the one that started it all.
Actually, this season had 2 infamous ones.
One people don't remember so much, Yosuga no Sora.
Well, I suppose it depends on the circle you're in. I feel like I see people talk about it a lot, but I'm also aware that I'm in an odd corner.
I feel like it is remembered, but that's purely because it went there.
Yeah, because it's hey, remember that sister fucking show? Wow,
that was the show where they're
But although in general, sister fucking aside, there was an awful lot of, teens getting it on screen in that show.
Yeah.
Under the table. I was discovered banging my little sister because I was doing it in the front hall of my house, and the student council president came over and saw me fucking her in the entryway.
Yeah.
Or oh, I went to this hot spring and I fucked the student council president.
So there was a lot of stuff going on, but the one that actually started, really started the next big craze.
Yeah, the next generation in sister fucking.
Was My Little Sister Can't Be This Cute. Ori no Imoto, can you do the full title? Ori no Imoto...
Kawaii...
Wakaganai or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Ori Imo, which you say so people don't realize what you're actually watching.
I get. Oh, although it's not like that's an obscure name for it.
No. But, well, no, it's more like to disguise the fact that it is called My Little Sister Can't Be This Cute.
Oh, I guess so. Well, I'll admit, I never saw any of the anime because I remember people talking like, oh, this heartwarming story about two siblings and the sister's really into otaku crap and her brother's a loving brother and blah, blah, blah. And so I read the first chapter of the manga and I just remember that was all it took and I was like, yeah, okay, dudes. Heartwarming family manga.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, yep.
I'll say this, to this day, it is the best written one of all of them.
That wouldn't take much.
Exactly, but it's like...
No, you know what? When I was your age, children out there, we were watching Koikaze and we liked it.
Oh,
okay? If we want to talk well-written incest shows.
Oh, fair enough, yeah, we were talking well-written incest.
But I mean, that show also didn't think that it was a fetish festival.
No, I guess so.
Anyway.
Also, I will always defend the character.
Get off my lawn.
I will defend the character of Kuroneko. I think she's genuinely good.
I mean, a lot of people defend her character.
Yeah.
I mean, this is sort of the touchstone of the harem shows in which we like everybody except for the lead girl type things.
And by the end, the lead guy. I didn't watch it the whole way through. I watched all the first season.
I mean, they end up marrying, except not really.
He definitely spends the OVA at the end running around yelling at everyone that he loves his little sister.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I guess, I mean...
What's ironic is that I remember at the time...
If you're gonna love your little sister, I suppose at least it's a situation where she feels the same way.
I just remember at the time it was like, this was slightly past the peak of the Moe boom. And at the time thinking like, please make something other than Moe shit, please. And then like, the monkey's paw fingers curls and we get this.
Oh, it's sort of like how I felt about in the wake of, the Emoto craze cooling off. Where I was like, oh god, enough Emoto stuff, just give us the next trend. And the next trend has turned out to be slavery fantasies. And I'm like, you know what? I will watch every single Emoto show for the next 20 years if you've like 20 of them a season, if you just no more of these fantasies about slavery, thank you. But
I will say, I think the isekai genre, which is kind of taking over, this is the next big thing in light novels. The isekai genre has produced things that are really interesting. I think it's not it produced Tanya the Evil for me.
Okay, but I mean, I'm also very specifically talking about a subset of that. Also, I will maintain that 90% of isekai is colonialist garbage. It's all about, I've gone to another world and everyone thinks I'm amazing and I'm saving everything, blah, blah, blah. Some of them are more overt about it than others, like Gate. Some of them dress them up in like cutesier crap, but when you get down to it, it's colonialist fantasies. But I did have one more thing I want to say about Oreimo, because I know you're probably eager to move to the next, and that is, I just remember this was ANN stuck its toe into the simulcasting pool, and it didn't end well. Oreimo and what was the other one they were doing?
It was something completely forgettable. I'm looking down to the list, and honestly, I have no idea.
I have no idea which of these it could possibly be. But anyway, they stuck their toe in the pool, and it got leaked. Oh God, was it Togainu no Chi? Was it? Because Togainu no Chi streamed somewhere that it was kind of an odd choice. Anyway, the episodes got leaked, and then the Japanese side of the house wouldn't touch them, and they ended up, that was the beginning and end of it. It was like episode 4?
Yeah.
It wasn't immediate.
Yeah. It was a, that show, I blogged that show at the time.
I mean, you also blogged My Little Sister is Among Them, or as you called it,
Who is Emoto?
So,
to be fair, that was intentionally knowing it was bad, whereas Oreimo was like, this first episode is surprisingly well written, and I don't know about this whole scene where she's waving her butt in the air under his bed.
Even see, and that was the scene that was in the same exact scene, from the same exact angle, in the manga. And I just remember her butt in the air and thinking, yeah, heartwarming. Okay, dudes, you got it. But enough about that.
Yeah. If you want to talk about a pervy show that was actually very... we actually can both agree on this one was very good. Well, was good.
What?
Panty and stocking with garter belt.
Oh, well, I mean, I'll point this out. I think one of the differences, too, though, was that Panty and Stocking was a sex comedy.
Yes.
In a lot, well, yeah, primarily a sex, well, maybe not primarily, but a lot of it was sex comedy. So, you know, and it didn't come off as if it was written for people who were like, oh, I saw some panties.
I mean, she spends the whole time... It's horny Powerpuff Girls. Because the show is kind of ultimately a love letter to, like, Western Cartoon Network animation.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's the Powerpuff Girls visual style.
Yeah.
And a touch of, what's his face? Vasquez there. That was Invader Zim.
Yes.
He's Gur from Invader Zim, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a certainly very imaginative show.
Yeah, so, you know, some of the episodes totally didn't work for me.
Oh, absolutely.
But I appreciated that it was trying to do something different. And the episodes that worked were Scream. Yeah,
there was just some of the things like the episode where they all turn into mechas and then there's a sex scene involving a screwdriver.
Yep.
Which is pretty great. Or just the fact that their transformation sequence is a pole dance. It
had a good soundtrack, too.
Oh, it did, yeah. Fly away now.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good show.
Yes.
Okay, look, also, Panty had a gun that was made out of her underwear. Like, come on, how could you hate that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of one of those ones where it's definitely one of the ones, like, I would compare it to something like Humanity Has Declined, where it's like, over time, I've just sort of forgotten the bits that didn't work. Even if I can look back and say there was definitely a lot of it that didn't work.
So I do remember the stuff that didn't work, because when it didn't work for me, it really didn't work. It wasn't merely like, It was like, I am actively not enjoying this.
Yes. I mean, that's kind of, sometimes that can be the nature of sex comedy, because when you don't work, it's like, this is pretty rapey. It can sometimes be. I don't think it was even that for Panty and Stocking, though. It was just...
Garter belt was an unfortunate choice.
Oh, God.
How about that?
Yes.
Garter belt was a black priest with an afro who it was heavily implied was around, like, he was trying to molest the ginger guy who's kind of the loser in it. And, you know, that even at the time, that didn't seem like the best choice.
No.
You know, granted, maybe some of it is coming from one of the ground zeros of the Catholic Church sex scandal, but that was, you looked at that and thought, wow.
Very, very, very funny, guys. Yeah, there was another, it could be also described as entertainingly stupid. Much like this next anime that you were apparently a big fan of.
Oh, Milky Holmes?
Yes.
Fucking love Milky Holmes. It was a great show. Milky Holmes was one of those cases where they took, you know, what was it originally? I want to say it wasn't a phone game, because phone games weren't really a thing yet, but Milky Holmes was a property that it was targeted at adult males, and it was these cutesy moe characters who are detectives, and they've all got names like, they're named after great detectives, so, you know, you have a cutesy girl named Hercule, as in Hercule Poirot. You know, you have another one who's called, you know, Cheryl, because she's Sherlock Holmes. But what they decided to do with the adaptation was they chucked out all the inane crap, and they're like, all right, we're going to make something stupid and weird. Let's go. And so the 4 girls in it, they're at a detective academy, but they're all like, well, 3 of them are punishingly stupid, and the 4th is pretty stupid, but she has flashes of cleverness that coincide with flashes of sadism. And, they end up, they're so crap as students, they keep screwing up. They end up living in a shack on the campus because they're not allowed. Oh no, it's in the attic of the campus because they're not allowed in the dorm rooms anymore. And they have a cat named Fish Paste. And it's really dumb. Also, the head of the student council is herself, she's a phantom thief. But they can't figure this out and she hates their guts because they're so dumb. And yeah, it's...
There's a character, and again, I've only seen this
there was the nipples.
Yes, with 1 meter long nipples.
Not always.
Oh.
He was one of the villains.
Oh, that makes it okay then.
He was one of the villains, and
yes.
Yeah.
A man with nipples that large could not possibly be a good person.
And yeah, the 3 villains are always like in fetish gear, so...
It's like Inukami.
Except there's no hip thrusting competition in Milky Holmes.
And as I said...
I think he put someone's eye out once with his nipple.
Naturally.
Anyway, Milky Holmes is a great show.
Speaking of another show that had, like, kind of weird sex...
Fetish gears? Okay, Star Driver. Okay, so Star Driver.
God bless that show for trying.
I think that, like, the first 9 episodes are largely irredeemable. And then the remaining episodes... It does get better.
It gets better, you swear.
But I do think the initial set of episodes is pretty much garbage.
Actually, I think I got to literally episode 9 and I was like, I'm done.
I watched a couple of episodes like, no, this is bad. And then I went back to it later and I ended up being like, there's a good show in here. I wish they'd been faster at getting to it.
It's a shame because I had a real nice sense of style. Like, it was a bunch of people who made Utena.
Yeah, but oh god. This was back when it was fashionable to claim that Utena hadn't been really Ikuhara's thing. I just felt like...
And it took stupid twists.
I felt like they didn't really... Well, I think one of the issues with a lot of the would-be Utenas in the wake of that show have been they don't really seem to get what worked in Utena, in that ultimately Utena was a feminist show and they try to be like, yeah, the revolution, changing the world. Yeah, it's all about guys. And oh, here's some boobs. And it's like, I don't think you understand why people dug this so much. Takuya Igarashi.
Igarashi, yes.
Yes, it had become very trendy to claim that Igarashi was the one who was actually the real person who made Utena what it was.
Magic Girl Do Re Mi, that's what he did as well back in the day. Yes, I'm pretty certain that is him.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he's old enough.
Unless I've got the name wrong, the one from like 2003 or something.
No, Do Re Mi dates back to the 90s.
Well, maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, because he got.
He was an episode did storyboards.
But I've realized I don't like him.
He directed episodes, but he didn't.
He wasn't the chief director. Because he's just, I just don't like his sense of humor, and it kind of it showed in Star Driver, and it's shown in his other work. And I know people love Oren, I just do not.
I mean, I liked it a lot, but I think Bungo Stray Dogs is obnoxious. I guess ultimately Star Driver. You know what? I'll say this for Star Driver. It's one of very few shows that ends in OT3.
Yeah.
And is like, this is okay.
Yeah.
And you don't walk away from it thinking, oh, it ended that way because they didn't want to commit.
Yeah.
It was, no.
They did
This
commit.
makes complete sense. And they did commit. This is the ending.
Anyway.
And that was a good choice. But I watched the movie a few years back, too. Anyway, though.
Speaking of feminism.
Uh-huh.
Bakuman.
Yeah.
That was... So, like...
I feel like that's one that I don't really hear people mention anymore.
This was a terrible adaptation, for one. Like...
Was the original manga any good?
Yes. And they tried to make But, like, it had its problems. Which is to say, it had a really bad...
Hyper-sexist.
Yes. But it's... Look at manga publishing, the... thought that goes into constructing manga, the industry, things like that. It was all very interesting and kind of like well told, and the kind of drama moving on from that is the anime looked at that and said like, oh, do you know what we should do? We should turn this into a romance. And the romance is what helped heighten just how shitty it is with the female characters. Like there was things like like.
Men have dreams that women can't understand.
Yes, you need to. I go back and read some of my old blog posts because this was back when I wasn't, the vocabulary of feminism. I was not exactly particularly.
Attuned to.
I had just learned what what's the test, Bechdel test.
Yes.
I'd only just learned what that was.
Dykes to watch out for.
But even at the time, I was like, "What? Why are they so shitty?" Oh. But the show, it was such a terrible direction to take the show because the romance was terrible and detracted from the bits of the show that were good. Oh, it fundamentally misunderstood the source material.
I'm just marveling at the fact, though, now that it is kind of shocking to me in retrospect how completely it fell off the face of the planet because, this is a show that ended up having 3 seasons from...
The manga was huge as well.
Yeah, and it's also from... I mean, it did well at the time, but God, I did hear someone mention... So, someone mentioned the other day, but they were mentioning it within the context of like, man, remember how sexist this crap was?
Yeah.
And that is the first time I've heard it mentioned by anyone in at least a year.
Death Note still gets plenty of mention by the same author as well, so it's not
Good, like... it has sexism issues too.
I know, but yeah. They didn't decide to make Death Note about a romance, which is actually what they did do for the live-action Western Netflix version. Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well...
If your source material is sexist, don't draw attention to that.
Wow. Bakuman probably would have done even better if it had come out more recently, because you have all the ones who are... Think if it had come out during Gamergate.
Oh dear. Please do not mention that in...
our podcast.
There's feminism. Speaking of feminism, we've got Princess Jellyfish, which I think was...
I am going to disagree with you here, but go ahead.
I'm going to say, I think that is one that, if I look back on in retrospect, I think a lot of the things that I thought were quite progressive at the time, I'll look back on and feel less kind towards them.
Well, I mean, there's the evil lady exec who slept her way to the top.
Yeah, but it's also just, it was a depiction of female otaku being gross
crap.
Being crap, yes, exactly. Which
yeah.
hadn't really been the case, particularly people with Emo in the same season, for example.
Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely a lot. I, feel very strongly that one of the things with feminism in terms of pop culture is, I want depictions of women being garbage, but I want depictions of women being terrible people in ways that are not linked inextricably to their gender, so more of women just being like regular old assholes and not just being regular old assholes and, I don't know if you...
I know, I get what you're saying.
You look like you're confused.
No, I get what you're saying, but I was thinking... the problem is because they act like regular assholes who are just otaku of stuff.
Yeah.
But that made them uninteresting characters.
Well, they weren't interesting assholes, I suppose.
No, they weren't. They were just annoying. Because the thing is, at the time, and I feel mean saying this, but at the time, I really liked the main character in particular. I liked her.
Well, and I will say too at the time that it was kind of a relief to look on screen and be like, hey, she's an asshole.
But the main character and her jellyfish.
Oh, she was. I liked the main character
and her relationship with the.
The guy.
The crossdresser. I don't remember.
Oh God, I don't remember.
I don't remember. But yeah, it was fun. I was watching, and he helped her come out of her skin and
I think you mean
yes,
shell, not skin.
Yes, come out of her. Yes, thank you.
Or be comfortable in her own skin.
Be comfortable in her own skin. Come out of her shell and just and make these people do more with their lives essentially.
Yeah.
Because it was because ultimately their lives weren't healthy, and by him entering their lives, it helped.
Oh, so you mean it's like those harem shows in which the guy fixes all the girls'
problems. Except in this case the guy is a drag queen.
Except he's the one who's ultra femme.
Yes. And I think it's got a style that I like. It's quite, cartoony and goofy.
I mean, there's stuff I like about it. I stopped watching it though because I was like, This kind of sexist. I'm not having fun.
And the ending is really disappointing because it's one of those like, oh, we didn't really finish the story, so let's maybe continue in another season, which never happened.
Oh God, it never does with Jose.
To this day, I still remember Clara Tequila.
Actually, I'm sorry, that's a total lie. Nadame clearly was an exception.
Yeah, well, Nadame got like 3 seasons worth, didn't it? Because this was the speaking of no, this was the Noitamina show of the season.
Yeah.
Has a super cool OP. Do you remember it? It's one with all the movie
Yeah.
references. Yeah.
I remember. I don't remember the music though. I do remember the music from the ending theme.
Yeah, it was a good
love
ending.
Love is coming back. Yeah, love is coming. I'm not gonna sing. I'm bad at that.
It was it was
nice.
You know, actually, no. Speaking of this, it's like, yeah, I've remembered a lot of the faults, but I've actually never remembered why I liked the show a lot in the first place.
Okay.
Which I'm kind of glad. I'm actually glad I had this little
conversation
because it's reminded me. Because I've all the time I've forgotten why I liked it, and it's just kind of reminded me. Anyway, speaking of,
we have a bunch of other shows.
Speaking of things that live like jellyfish or squid, Invasion Squid Girl. I liked Invasion Squid Girl. It's not particularly. There's not much to it, but
it was a minor hit at the time.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? You know,
Actually, it was licensed by the same licensors licensed Bakuman.
I was
in the US.
I was under the impression that Invasion Squid Girl would do really, really well on just like generic kids television, like Cartoon Network, like after school type thing.
Yeah, but they don't show anime on that block anymore anyway.
But like it was inoffensive enough while being like kind of there's almost a bit of SpongeBob to it. I liked it. It's kind of forgettable though. There was I did particularly like the kind of silent movie mini Squid Girl segments. Remember she was like this little thing that was this.
I watched maybe 2 episodes of this. All that I really remember is her vomiting ink onto
plates.
Food.
Yes, that was a running gag.
Yeah, because they own don't they own a restaurant?
Yeah, they own
a seaside type cafe.
A sea cafe, yeah.
So she's puking squid ink onto the dishes since that's
because she destroyed their wall, so she has to pay them back.
Yeah.
Also, an environmentalist show, technically.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Again, though, I really didn't see much of it. It wasn't. I didn't think it was funny enough.
Do you remember that show? Was it Sorry Demo Machi? If the Town Moves or something like that? I
didn't watch it. I remember it existed, but I didn't watch it.
It had a really good opening.
Remember, I don't really dig Shaft.
I love Shaft. But I didn't like this one, actually. I actually found this kind of boring.
Right, now I'm going to think about blaxploitation films.
But Sorry Machi had like a really good... his OP was Round Table. The guys did like Chobits and Welcome to NHK. No, don't ring a bell.
None of it.
It's a really
good. I didn't watch Welcome to the NHK and I didn't watch Chobits.
You should look if you haven't heard the show, which fair enough, of course you haven't, because as a search like Sorry Machi OP on YouTube and just it's super fun. It's the show. I kind of don't really care about the show.
I mean, it looked like it was just sort of a I mean, it didn't look like there was anything wrong with it exactly.
There were people who definitely liked it.
Yeah, It looked like it was perfectly inoffensive slice of life offering.
I don't think anyone liked Iron Man, though. Do you remember them when they were trying to make Marvel anime?
Marvel one. Yes. But I mean, the one I really remember, but that's not Marvel. But it was kind of the same wheelhouse, the supernatural OVAs.
No, because that thing was like competently made, whereas the Marvel ones were just utterly dreadful by every count.
I mean, but they were all done by Madhouse, and they were all effects at leveraging popular Western properties and none of them were particularly good.
The Marvel ones, they were such a... God, I just remember how angry people were at them. And you look back and now what a wasted opportunity that kind of was. We're kind of glad, 'cause I don't particularly like Marvel superhero stuff, but yeah, oh well.
Yeah, it's kind of wild to think about just how poorly received they were and how badly made they were considering, I mean, God, all that stuff's gotten so... Okay, I mean, it was big anyway, but it's just gotten so all-consuming. But, I did mention earlier... Well, but you probably want to talk about something else.
Why? What would you want to talk about?
Well, you scrolled down the list and I was like, oh, I did mention To Guy Who No Cheat
you
earlier.
Did.
Because I'm pretty sure that was the one, but man, that show sucked.
It wasn't very good. It was...
I feel like that's one of those ones where you look at the fandom and some of the things they said and you're like, you should probably talk about that with your therapist. Because so Togaino no Chi was one of the ones where I feel like they don't make these anymore. It's BL adaptations that they pretty much strip all the BL out of, which makes you wonder what's even the point. I mean, no one's going to watch it who isn't already into BL to an extent.
Yeah, it was.
No one was going to sit down and be like, "Oh, I hate gay shit. Yeah, I'm going to watch this Togaino no Chi." Togaino no Chi, I feel like at this point no one's going to know what it is. It was an adaptation of Nitro.
A Nitro Plus game. Their lady label.
It's like this one where it's, all these criminals, and we put them into this walled-off part of the city where they have to survive, and they're all criminals. Rah! And, in the original game, it's like, yeah, and they're all gay. Because, of course, they are. Yeah, prison rape, yeah.
So hot right now.
But there's, like, some weird virus going around, and it's transmitted by blood. And it's like, wait, did you guys even stop to think 2 seconds about the implications here? Oh, all these gay guys, like, beating each other up and fucking, and there's a blood-transmitted virus. Yeah.
I guess I don't remember that much about the show.
Yeah.
It's fair, I watched one
Very
episode.
questionable. But they stripped out all the gay stuff, and it was bad. The thing that sticks with me is someone in the fandom being really angry that, and I remember seeing this post in some forum somewhere, they were really angry that they'd taken out one of the roots where it ends in the guy's, like, kind of wimpy childhood friend goes full yandere and, like, rips out his spinal cord or something fucked up like that.
I love Mortal Kombat.
Like, just ties him up and, yeah, I don't... And they're like, oh, it was so romantic. And I was like, what? What?
Don't kink shame.
Yeah, that was definitely one of those moments where I was like, I really don't get some people.
Really
don't.
Like someone watching Mortal Kombat and going like, oh, what a romantic game.
Like, oh yeah, I wish my girlfriend, like, kicked my ass like that. Except no one's spinal cord gets ripped out in Mortal Kombat.
Yes, they do.
Wait, they do?
That's like the one thing everyone knows about Mortal Kombat.
See, I don't remember this crap. I just remember there being a moral panic about it when I was like 8.
Yeah, it's like one of the main ones is they pull off a guy's head and it's still got the spinal cord attached.
Oh, so it's like Blood Sea.
Yes.
Which did not air this season.
No, it did not.
Sorry. All right, enough about the weird crap.
There's some neat movies this season, actually. Well, there was some movies that were attempted something. I wanted to like Marduk Scramble.
Well, there's one movie that you really liked.
Yeah, and it wasn't Marduk Scramble. And that annoys me because there's everything on paper I should really like. It's basically trying to be the next, it was trying to be the next Ghost in the Shell.
I feel so, it's kind of bizarre, and I didn't realize this was the case, but, I've always, what season of Fafner is that?
Oh no, it's much older than that. I think this was a remake, not like a sequel.
Well, I know it was I know it was a sequel. Oh, was it one of the movies?
No idea.
It's Heaven and Earth. Anyway, for some reason though, whenever I hear of Marduk Scramble's name, I somehow mix it up or conflate it with Fafner, even though Fafner's quite a bit older.
And they're
completely different.
Yes.
But they're both kind of crap.
Yeah. The Marduk Scramble, it was just very misguided. Like all the people with names named after eggs, and it's like, oh, because you see it's all about death and rebirth. And it's like, this character is called Boiled. You're just an idiot. Yes.
I'm scrambled.
There's one golden mouse character who walked around and kind of gave the main character advice on how to, and like that character was really good, and had like really intelligent dialogue, and it was this reminder that like there's something here. But yeah, I think
wasn't it also buried under like a layer of, this is so deep.
Yes.
yeah, this girl's basically naked, but like this has meaning. Okay, that's why.
I mean, so they weren't Ghost in the Shell as well, which is.
I mean, well,
I mean,
do
yes.
we want to get into that? Because
I mean, yeah. If you want to talk, oh yes, they wrote the original author intent of Ghost in the Shell was. You can use nakedness for meaning and stuff, and also exist to get horny on it. But
I feel like there's a higher threshold, in my opinion, with we're using nudity here to be meaningful. I feel like I'm going to have higher demands for it to be,
yeah.
Look, you're going to have to work harder.
So I think Marley Scramble definitely was, but I think it was nothing like as intelligent as I thought it was. The perfect word for it is...
pretentious.
Yes, it is one of the most pretentious anime out there. There was a movie I did like, as you said, though, which was You Are Uma So.
Oh god, that's not the one I was thinking of at all.
What one were you thinking of? Oh, no, we'll get to that one. But You Are Uma So was the one about a...
dinosaur.
Dinosaur based off a children's book. And it was about a dinosaur who was like...
I'm going to eat this kid.
I'm going to eat this...
The kid is this adorable little dinosaur.
And then he's like, oh, but you're so friendly and you'll be my dad, won't you? And instead of eating the kid, they end up being friends. And then he saves him and it's very dramatic and it's quite... And it's very emotional. And I got very emotionally attached to these dinosaurs. It's good. It's a bit... modeling, but I guess sometimes even I sometimes modeling stuff gets to me. Apparently, you can make them all dinosaurs is the trick.
God, now I want to rewatch The Land Before Time. Loved that movie.
I just realized before we just got into the one movie, just like there's a few things in here we missed, such as The World God Only Knows, which was very big at the time.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, that's enough said about that.
There's still people who will tell you it's very meaningful. I just remember the lead guy looked... Man, the uniforms in that show were kind of weird. I just remember the lead guy, his uniform, and all I could think of was Austin Powers.
Yes, he had ruffles.
Except, he didn't have horrific teeth as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. And
to me, that's not a good look.
You also didn't get a chance to talk about Yumeo Patissier too.
Oh, yeah. So, because I talked about how much I like Yumeo Patissier.
One, yeah.
Well, it did well enough that they ended up making a second season, which was, if I'm not mistaken, was completely anime-only material because they had... It took place, like, several years in the future, and it's after they've gone and studied in France, and they go back to Japan. Of course they have. Well, that was that's the whole, that was the big thing in the first season, was trying to get to go do that. And now they're back in Japan, and it's like, okay, now you actually have to apply your skills. You're going to have to run this little eatery. Go. And it's, like, totally insubstantial fluff, but it was okay. Yeah. I think the original is much better, but it was fine. And, I'm glad they made it.
There was also, again, I think I watched one episode of this, Otome Yokai Zakuro.
Oh, yeah. By what's her name? Lily Hoshino did the original manga. I mentioned that in part, though, because people will probably recognize her from, she did the designs in Moraru Penguin Drum.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was...
She also... No, I'm thinking of someone else.
But yeah. There was a little OVA that I liked called Koisento, which...
It had the deer, didn't it?
Yeah, it had this, like, weird psychic... It was a fully CG thing, and the CG was bad, but, like, it was kind of goofy and jumped around a bunch, and as far as, like, a 20-minute thing goes, like, it was the worst place to spend your time.
Wow.
Oh, I know.
Wow, what an endorsement.
Look, I saw it on the list and was like, I watched that. That wasn't bad. Yeah. But the one, we're finally getting to it. The one I really, really want to talk about is the movie Redline.
I will let you talk because I haven't seen it.
So Redline originally came out in... I was looking this up because I was trying to say, can I count this for 2000 and for the new 10s? And it's because it did air technically first in 2009. However, it only aired at one film festival in Switzerland. So, like,
Seems fitting.
Yeah. So, like, how many people saw it? Like, 100? 200 maybe? How many do you fit in a movie theater? And then it didn't air anywhere until 2010. I saw it in September of 2010, which is around about now, and it aired in Japanese cinemas in October 2010. So as far as I'm concerned, this is a new 10s anime, and therefore it is relevant in new 10s anime of the decade discussion. And Red Line is one of them. It is. It is style over substance ultimately. It is style as substance, I think is the way I try to defend it, but it is a absolute treat. It has an understanding of how to mirror the story beats with the musical beats, with the visual beats, and it all comes together as this one like big fun series of kind of moments that like lift you up as they happen. And it's like the story's kept very simple, but it like has this pacing that's perfect. It has these dramatic moments. It bursts out into color when it needs to, and then drops all the color when it needs to. It has this sense of humor about how ridiculous it is. It is what it's about is just a guy enters an intergalactic car race in which they decide to hold on the planet that is basically, robot North Korea. And they told that there because they figure out, well, that'd be a great way to boost ratings. It's their entire idea of how holding it there. And you get one guy who decides to... You saw Megalobox, it's a lot like that, actually. One guy who was previously, involved in gambling and then match fixing. But then he gets his big break and he makes it into the big game. And he's like, I know, now I'm actually going to do it for real. I want to prove to the world. I want to prove to myself. And much like Megalobox, like it's more about the presentation of the story. But Redline is what all those kind of series are trying to be. And it ultimately kind of crashed Madhouse at the time because it never did very well. It took them so many years to make, and it shows, but not very many people watched it ultimately. It's still held up today as like anyone who's like, most people who see it are like, holy shit, you have to see this film. I think it's that like the style over substance complaints are definitely legitimate, but as style, it is the best. Full stop. I think. And you've never seen it.
No, it's just...
I'm not sure it's your kind of thing.
It's not my kind of thing. And that is how it goes sometimes.
Well, I'm so happy.
That's okay.
I'm so happy it exists and more people to watch it.
You know what? I'm happy that you're happy.
Thank you very much.
Sometimes it is a good trait to be able to appreciate someone else's love for something, even if you don't really dig it.
And that's why we say, if we insult your favorite anime here, it's okay. It doesn't invalidate your love for it.
Yes, it does.
I'm trying to get them back on our side. Anyway, thank you very much for listening.
It does if it's Sword Art Online.
Honestly,
yeah,
we'll get into this once we start covering the isekai genre. Sword Art Online is not that bad in the grand scheme of things.
I mean...
It's just a power fantasy.
For that matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a power fantasy that repeatedly utilizes rape.
At least it says rape is bad.
Alright, folks, I think that's it.
We will
see you next time.
We'll see when we get into talking about the winter of 2011, which is a very fun season.
Alright.
See you then.